have been researching about different methods to assess talent performance and potential. In this video, I will explain you the 4 methods that stood the most to me. We will learn the dynamic, use cases, pros and cons, and other recommendations for each of the 4 methods. But first, we have to understand that performance is not the same as having great potential. A great performer may not have great potential. We must understand our talent in an holistic way. For example, I may have an employee, let's call her Sarah, who is exceptional on what she does. She's a great employee with great attitude and she's focused on completing her career while she has a 9-to-5 job she enjoys. Sarah is kind and friendly, but she's not strategic and she's not interested in growing her acumen about the company. Her aspirations are just to keep her job while she continues her career. Despite she's a high performer, she's not a high potential in the company in terms of succession plans for management or leadership, at least in this stage of her life. Hi, I am Ruth Valverde. I am a leader and a leadership coach in the corporate world with more than 9 years of experience. Leadership is my passion and I share my research, discoveries, and tips in this channel. So when the leaders need to use these different methods to assess their talent, either as part of your team's development plan, maybe because you have to create succession plans that you must organize, or as part of your company's leadership best practices. But assessing other humans is not an easy task. We are humans, we have biases and we make mistakes. So always be responsible and objective when you have to evaluate others, and give yourself grace. Always be respectful, open-minded, and inclusive. But know that you will not always be perfect in your judgments. Educate yourself, like learning about these techniques with this video, so you can do it the best you can. So let's learn about the 4 different methods. The first one is the 9-box grid. The 9-box grid is a 3x3 matrix used to evaluate employees based on their performance and potential. You have 2 axes where you can evaluate performance and potential. Each of them has low, medium, and high. Let's see how we would use this matrix. Imagine we have an employee named John. John consistently meets his sales targets, which means high performance, and shows strong leadership qualities, which means high potential. John would be placed in the top right box of the grid, indicating he's a high performer with high potential. John probably is our successor, and we coach him with that end goal in mind. If a leadership opportunity comes, we may recommend him and prepare him to conquer that next level. We also have Sarah, who is great at delivering fast results with high quality, but her aspirations and skills indicate she is happy where she is at. Her attitude is amazing too. So we see her potential in a more distant future when she wants to invest more in getting more responsibility. Through development conversations with Sarah, we can gain more clarity on what she truly wants in the next months versus in the midterm future to tailor the coaching that enables her success while giving the most value to the company with her abilities and desires. We may place her as high performer and mid potential. And finally, we may have Tom, who never hits his targets but aspires to be a leader. He's charismatic and people like him, but he lacks of the strategic muscle for you to grasp his potential. His current place in the grid would be mid potential due to the positive feedback that you receive, and low performance. What can we do with him? We know that he does not perform in his current role, so we have to analyze why. Training gaps, technical gaps, incorrect tools. Take responsibility as his leader. If an employee is underperforming, you have to figure out what's happening and how to help them. As leaders, oftentimes it's hard to see the potential of people who is underperforming. So be open-minded and understand why other people believe in him. If he's a role model for the culture and values of your company and he's really interested in your company and he wants to gain that acumen, help him perform better. If it's not a fit, then help him look for a role within the company where his skills can deliver a win. Important note, if we have employees who were just hired, we may see a lot of potential in them, of course, but it's not fair to make a judgment over their work. We must give them the opportunity to perform to rate them accordingly. So let's learn the pros and the cons of this method, the 9-box grid. Simple and easy to use. It helps identify high potential employees for leadership roles, so it's good for succession plans. The cons can be subjective, may not capture all the nuances of employee potential. Famous common Companies that use this method are General Electric and Microsoft for talent management and succession planning. Who is it for and who is not for? It is for organizations looking to identify and develop future leaders. It is not for companies needing a more detailed and personalized assessment of employees. All of these tools require an important understanding of leadership. You cannot use these methods in isolation. You must accompany them with career development conversations and knowing your people. Whenever you use any of these methods, you must be very aware of your biases, dislikes, and preference. None of these methods should be a tool to harm anyone, but to help them grow. The second method is the Balance Scorecard. What is the Balance Scorecard? The Balance Scorecard allows us to evaluate performance across 4 perspectives: financial performance of the company, customer needs, internal processes, and learning and growth capabilities and opportunities. To exemplify this better, let's use one of our characters, Sarah. Sarah works in operations. Her performance might be evaluated based on the quality and speed of her reports. Everything tailored to the stakeholders she serves, who are her customers. She must stick to operational protocols, meaning internal processes, and those operational reports she delivered must be tied to a measurable financial metric or operational indicator that allows the business to improve. For example, the better her reports, the more opportunities the company has to reduce their cost of goods sold. If that metric is reduced, we know how Sarah's work is moving the needle. And finally, she also must demonstrate that she's improving based on the training and feedback she receives. This approach allows us to evaluate her holistically and create goals and performance measurement aligned to what we need her to deliver to the business. The pros and the cons. The pros. It provides a comprehensive view of performance. It aligns individual performance with organizational goals. The cons. It can be complex to implement, and it requires ongoing data collection and analysis. And it also seems to miss the culture and value piece, like the attitude and people skills of the person, which for some roles, it's a critical piece. Companies who use it, IBM and Pepsi, to align employee performance with a strategic goals. Who is it for and who is not for? It is for organizations wanting a broad view of performance across multiple areas. Companies who want to ensure your work is connected to the company's financial performance and give more perspective to its employees on how they can improve the business. It is not for small businesses where employees understand better the whole operation, and it's clear how we all together improve the company. Also, subscribe to this channel to become the best version of a leader you can be by learning together about tons of amazing leadership strategies. Our third method are OKRs. Objectives and key results. What are OKRs? Objective key results are a goal-setting framework used to define and track objectives and their respective results. Objectives are what you want to achieve, the goal, and key results are how you measure the progress of those objectives, and they are public within the company. It's like a public commitment you make. Imagine John is in the marketing department, and John's objective is to increase brand awareness. His key results could be achieving 10,000 new social media followers and getting 50 mentions in industry publications by the end of the quarter. So, let's review the pros and the cons of OKRs. The pros. This approach waterfalls OKRs across the board, ensuring that we are all connected towards the same goals, working together depending on our area of specialization. For example, myself as a CEO may have a goal to improve revenue by 10% during the year. One of my key results could be increase my sales in Kansas by 20%. To do so, I work through my sales director and give him that objective. Increase sales in Kansas by 20%. To do so, this director sets the key result of cold calling 100 potential clients in Kansas per day. He gives that key result as an objective to each of his 5 sales guys. Each of them will have the objective cold calling 20 potential clients in Kansas per day, and the key result may be to close 3% of those potential clients. We are all working towards the same goal depending on our area, and we are all moving the needle towards the success of the business while being connected to the leadership strategy. You can also have OKRs that are not directly connected to the executive goals, but that are a way for you to move the needle forward in your particular department. And we can also have aspirational OKRs that invite us to be bold and to stretch to keep the business running and healthy. Let's talk about the cons of OKRs. OKRs can be challenging to set the right key results for some of the objectives that are harder to measure. Another con is that it requires regular monitoring and adjustment, which in my opinion is good because it allows you to be on top of what's happening and helps you avoid disconnecting with what you committed to deliver. It stops you from being busy for the sake of being busy. Instead, it drives your focus on what is truly important. Companies who use it, Intel and Google. Who is it for and who is not for? It is for fast-paced and innovative companies. It is not for organizations that prefer long-term and less flexible goal-setting methods. By the way, I have an online course for leaders who want to crush their leadership game. If that's you, link in the video description. The fourth method is the Hogan Personality Inventory. The Hogan Personality Inventory is a personality assessment that measures traits related to job performance and potential. It provides insights into how an individual is likely to behave in different work environments and scenarios. Let's say that in our company, we must restructure our workforce. Unfortunately, we had to eliminate jobs to survive a bad market, and now we have to distribute our talent where they will give us the most value. Let's say our company recently invested in the Hogan Personality Inventory Assessment, and we are in need of a great project manager. Well, we realized that John, who has a great record with the company, unfortunately no longer have a job after the restructuring. But his Hogan Personality Inventory Assessment revealed that he is highly conscientious and detail-oriented, making him ideal for managing complex projects. Thanks to that assessment, we can place John where he can give the company the most value, playing his strengths, of course, assuming he does want the change. The pros and the cons. The pros. This method is scientifically validated and reliable. I have never used it, but it seems to be very accurate, and it provides deep insights into personality and behavior. The cons. It requires trained professionals to interpret the results, and it can be very expensive. Companies who use it, Coca-Cola and Johnson & Johnson for hiring and development. Who is it for and who is not for? It is for companies needing detailed personality insights for high-stake roles. It is not for a small business with limited resources for extensive assessments. Today, we have discussed 4 different methods to evaluate employee performance and potential: the 9-box grid, the Balance Scorecard, OKRs, and Hogan Personality Inventory. Each method has its own strengths and is suited for different types of organizations and purposes. How to define which one to use? Consider your organization size, your culture, your budget, and your specific needs. If you are hiring or going through restructuring changes, the Hogan Personality Inventory seems to be a great fit if you can afford it. OKRs are great for innovative companies, regular quarterly assessment, goal tracking, and ensuring all are going towards the same direction. The 9-box grid is very useful to define succession plans, and this tool connected with career development conversations can be truly powerful because it gives you the tools to explain to each of the team member where they are in the 9-box grid versus where they want to be and how to get there through career development conversations. And the Balance Scorecard seems an holistic approach to evaluate an employee performance and potential, but I would definitely add the values and cultural piece there if I were to adopt that as the evaluation method for my company or my team. So, how to ensure fairness? Use clear, consistent criteria and involve multiple perspectives to minimize biases. How to handle the results? Share feedback constructively, create development plans, and use the results to support employee growth. Remember, invest in your employees with kindness and respect, and they will treat your customers the same. Share your favorite methods and questions in the comments. See you soon. Bye.